call me fuego. 93 like me, fire in the sheets, spending summers on the sea. It's okay though, she know way home. Better life on the day.
Really good games on Miramar. That's one, but they still need to do a lot to prove to me that they are, you know, they're truly back, at least for this event. But I want to echo Matt completely. I love Honey Badger's attitude and the fact that, you know, the team obviously knows that they haven't been performing the greatest. And so I think that is actually what's going to turn them around. The fact that, you know, they know where they're at and what they need to do.
Yeah, I think keeping yourself in check is one of the most important things. And
hey,
we've seen some really good attitudes coming out from a lot of these players. I think that maturity has resulted in a lot of strength and growth for some of these teams. But, you know, at the end of the day, it really is going to come down to, you know, taking that attitude and turning it into action. So that said, you know, we've got a decent flight path to start. We're 3 to 9 o'clock here. A bit of water. The rocks were kind of into play. It always makes it a little bit of an eyebrow raise to wonder if we're going to get any of the water. We could see if it were to go east again, 300 might be in a good position. That would once again be a good circle for gas cans. But as we just kill a little bit of time to see where that zone goes, for right now, there's not too much action. I think at risk between most of these teams, except, well, I say that Dodge is a little bit close to in check, and as I say that as well, the circle is a bit close to them as well.
Spicy Fish have an amazing spot here, as well as Zenith. I mean, a good spot for where the circle currently went. So really love that from SDK. And meanwhile, Fresh and looks like Spicy Fish are actually going to fight it out here.
Looks like Spicy Fish did lose Keenan in this crash, but luckily Spicy Fish were also able to trade that out just a bit. We could see a bit of knocks and some damage, but Sharpshot right now trying to keep alive as he waits for the rest of his team coming down from the ridgeline to lend a hand. 2 members of Akreshi still knocked, and that Molotov might be good. It looks like it just barely catching onto Sparking, but Vizking is going to spot out Sharpshot, get some damage onto this. And oh, that nade actually did work. So Vizking's knocked. That's 3 members of Akreshi down, and just in time, here comes Raw for backup.
Ooh, that Brazilian barbecue is delicious. Unfortunately, it is Akreshi that's the one being barbecued now. As Sharpshot, only 1 member has actually been lost. And look at this angle! So much damage potentially coming out. Flashes, what other utility? He has nades as well. Oh, this is a dire situation for Akreshi.
Sharpshot just waiting to see if any other member peeked on top of the ridgeline there. We see Kishin actually is behind the RV trying to stay up, but doesn't matter. Ross spots him out, gets the knock. Quick flush coming out from this as well, and just in time because we can start to see Zenith getting some information if this is a fight they want to crash just yet. But now more throwables coming out from Spicy Fish as they try to take down the last member of Akreshi. That is Sparking.
And man, Akreshi just game after game, they find themselves in these rough situations, and it's rough to watch. You know, as all of us, I feel like, loved watching Sparking play in PGIS, and now to see him with his new team, we all had high hopes, but this has not been the tournament for them so far. Can Sparking do something about this? That's the real question. It's 3-on-1. I mean, I definitely wouldn't put it past him.
I guess he did something about himself. Sparking actually gets taken out there with a nade in his own hand just to Spicy Fish get the damage into him. 4 kills for them, but they did lose Keenan. Meanwhile, in Monty, SONIQS taking the push right now onto Enrage. We can see Gubin is a bit low, but hasn't been knocked just yet. But all of SONIQS trying to hold the high ground as they really push Enrage out into a corner. They've got plenty of throwables left to work on this fight. As we can see Shrimzy now first up the stairs.
Oh, nice.
Switch into a Molotov. Great way to get the door. He actually catches 2 on fire here. Pulls back down to 35 HP. Tiggleton now leading the charge, waiting for one more peek, though. Hwinn does get spotted out by Rizola. We can see Molotov coming out for Gubin as well. It actually is going to land on Tiggleton, and that's going to push him back, but Shrimzy ready to take the push back up to them as well. So this fight can go on for some time here on the edge, but oh, look at that nade by Shrimzy.
Shrimzy gonna find a beautiful nade indeed, and now it's really just down to SONIQS methodically clearing each room, taking their time. That's gonna be a knock coming out from Shrims. And that is it for Enrage. Wow, well played to SONIQS. Textbook clearing on that building, by the way, textbook. Very well done.
You know, I'm taking notes because these are the buildings that I struggle with myself when I play in PUBG.
Oh, look at this shift. I didn't even notice.
Oh, that's so great for STK. And I mean, STK had a split here. We see they've got 2 still in Pozo, and I think that they can keep the 2 there for a bit, but you got to be a bit mindful. Looks like actually Uncivil and Sharpshot already just on the edge of zone. Meanwhile, 22 esports crashing onto Dodge, but Dodge gets all 4 of them.
Wow.
Lampalot, Hikerman, Hello Senpai, clean it up. Hikerman did get knocked, but they're going to be able to safely get a res here as they stay out of window. As we can see, Oath just getting that wrap right outside of zone. So good protection here from Dodge.
Yeah, if you're getting 1 knock for 4 kills, I'd say that's worth it. Meanwhile, Young Kings now have been on this east side for quite a while, scoping out. These guys are stalkers, man. They absolutely love to take their time and really just stalk a team. Ultimately, I think that's why they kind of catch a lot of these teams by surprise, because they really wait for the perfect moment to pounce. Unfortunately, they've chosen to pounce on Oath, and Oath is not one of those teams that's going to take that lightly. On top of the fact that they're generally going to be ready for that.
No, and you can even see right now you've got so many shots out from different directions. Oath actually has to be careful. Zenith hitting shots onto this, Dodge taking shots to this. Even 300's been peeking over from their position to try to get shots out in this direction. As the kill feed lighting up, Young Kings is actually going to land 1. And the rest of Oath is going to have to just move on without reloads. They need to be a bit mindful of the high ground here. Try to take shots. It's actually be and 1 FPS. It gets a knock on to Kickstart. Gets flushed out by Hikerman, though, stolen away from Dodge. Shinboy actually going to get the flush onto Snakers as well. So third party is going to deny points there for Young King. Oath eliminated, but Coffee will pick up Balefrost.
It takes a village, though. It literally took like 3 teams shooting at Oath in order to... I swear that's been the story of Oath, this event. They've been in a good position. They fought off teams, and then all of a sudden, when they have to fight one team off their edge, they get shot by 3 others. It's been really wild for Oath, but they are going to go out. And that means that on that side, it is still going to be Young Kings that survives with 2 members.
I mean, you say it's very heartbreaking, but it has unfortunately been the story for how they've been going this weekend. That said, still sitting in 5th place, even though they are out right now. But speaking of you know, the teams that have found themselves constantly on top of one another, SONIQS, but miraculously they've really been able to outshoot and out-mechanic the rest of the teams that they've been up against, and that's why we've seen them continue to climb the leaderboard right now. It's just sitting on 76 points. And we talked about Pozo Field circles. We talked about the importance of this hill and this high ground. Godspeed, this circle has pretty much centered itself up on top of where Zenith is, where SONIQS are. And that's why that position was so, I think, important for so many of those teams early on.
These circles are actually kind of neat to watch, because that road that goes through right there actually has a decent, not a lot, but a decent amount of cover on both sides. And so you kind of get these... not these stalemate situations, but these really interesting peak battles between certain teams. So I'm definitely not hating the circle that we've seen. I'm glad it didn't end in Pozo Fields, if anything.
I think it was you maybe yesterday that's even used the term peak bullying, and that's definitely what we've seen quite a bit from so many teams here today. Is, you know, you talk about that coverage. We do have that 1 compound, but otherwise it's all hills, as we can see here. The terrain to play from, and every time you see a player peak, that's pretty much it. You get those headshots, and as well as those frag grenades, as we just saw.
Yep, and now it's actually SONIQS holding out SDK with the help of Zenith. I mean, this is going to be really rough for SDK to get a foothold. They are in the circle, but as you can see on the other side, Zenith is starting to get aggressive as well. They know SONIQS is up here holding SDK in this little dip, in this little valley. And this is going to be very tough for the North American Giants.
Zenith and SONIQS, the only 2 teams still with 4 full players up. Dodge down to just a solo here. So any team right now, I think they can handle taking out shoot to kill. It's going to want to be SONIQS or Zenith. They want to keep those rosters as full as they can without a big trade here. But you know, shoot to kill, they've still got plenty of throwables, and as we know about shoot to kill throwables and games like this, they're going to find scoring chances to capitalize. So
the problem is that they're fighting 2 different teams on 2 separate fronts, and so ultimately their utility is going to start to dwindle, as we see Luke just dumping all of his mollies. Only 1 smoke left for Purdy. Shots going to be coming out. Shrimzy is going to get knocked, and there goes Purdy. It's just down to Luke.
A really rough situation for Luke. We can see he continued to taking those looks over at Zenith's Compa and making sure that he's not overly visible, as Luke, along with Vegas, have pushed up to try to see what's going on with this fight and what they can pick out from the edge. But as Zanpah right now working on getting that res onto Shrimzy, there's nowhere for Luke to really go, as we can see as well. He's really just got 4 smokes, no other throwables to play from. Damage out coming from Zanpah as he has been rezzed. And the M4 back out once again for Luke as he tries to get close range shots. But look at this, Maluk, Vegas, they are just closing in on him.
Yeah, Luke is just desperately trying to find somewhere to go. He's getting shot at every which angle. And look, at this point, even if Luke went out, STK still with a really solid game. They'd be going out in 6 with at least 7 kills. So again, the consistency for STK, I'm not worried about them at all. Whatever happens to Luke at this point is bonus, especially if he can get a kill or 2. Sharp shot gonna get knocked by Shinboy. Okay, so shifting focus now. It's just one member of Spicy Fish left, actually.
It looks like SONIQS actually turned their attention down to the south. They were thinking about forward and ahead where they want to take their next rotation. That next rotation takes them right into the midst of Spicy Fish as Tiggleton does pick up Roth. We can see it drive by successfully flushed out now as Sharpshot and Civ that have been doing so much fighting in this building have to do fighting yet again as the push coming in. Zanpah now up on the roof, but still need to be a little bit mindful of the ridgeline. Luke 12 not yet dead. Neither Zenith nor SONIQS have taken care of him just yet, though. Hwinn was hanging back just a bit to try to keep an eye out on Luke 12. But meanwhile, we can see good shots out from Zanpah. Oh, gets the knock onto Civ.
Zanpah was so thirsty for that knock. He did find it, and that's going to be Spicy Fish going out in 6. But again, it's been a much better day so far yesterday as well as the start of today. So Spicy Fish definitely looking alive and like the team we thought they would be, currently sitting in 4th. And Luke is still alive, by the way. He's actually still alive, and he may get a knock here.
Oh.
No, I lied. I completely lied. Luke was having none of it. Yep, Luke was having none of it.
But And1 FPS is still alive, and Young Kings, a team that you and I talked about a bit. We loved the attitude that we've seen from them. As a solo player, we've oftentimes seen that these snakes that people might forget about be the one to really turn the tide here. And the way that Vox is behaving, you've got to wonder that he doesn't know And1 is that close to him.
Any one of these teams is super safe, arguably Zenith, but yeah, this is pretty much down to 3 teams in a solo.
And just slow creeping right now by everybody that can, trying to stay ahead of the blue. 30 seconds till it closes. Zenith just lying prone in these tiny variations in the fields. I mean, these aren't even ridges or dips to play from. This is quite literally just tall grass.
True, and now SONIQS actually with a lot of room to work with.
Oh, good shooting, Tiggleton.
And one's just going to go straight down. I'm just not sure if maybe waiting was a better play for him. It's hard to tell. He showed his hand so early, and now Zanpah is going to find another knock onto Vegas. And Hwynn's actually getting knocked to the blue.
Doesn't look like that's stopping the rest of SONIQS, though. Shrimzy and Tiggleton trying to see if they can spot out the last members of Zenith as Phase 9 getting ready right now. Shrimzy still quick on his feet, and it's actually going to be 300 Nefer and head kick. I get the flush onto Hwinn, a knock onto Zanpah, and that's still 2 up for SONIQS. Nowhere else to really go from here. Still getting pressure from Zenith and 300. It's a 2v2v2 with the potential for a res here on each of these squads.
Yeah, aside from actually Zanpah should be able to get up too. It's just Hwinn that went down to the blue and ultimately got flushed. But yeah, this is a 3v3v3 in a very, very open circle. As I do love the opportunities that 300 has taken, especially get some damage onto Zenith. I mean, this is fairly even at this point.
I think there's a big potential as well that Zenith and SONIQS could be 2 to take care of each other on this side of the road. This ending dot is just on the road right outside of 300, yeah. And so if 300 can kind of wait this out just long enough that they don't have to worry about taking on 6 players themselves, this could be a potential win for him.
Oh my goodness, and here we go. We've started the crawling. And look at this, a 3-man push from Zenith, but it's Vox!
Neff and head kick Vox all clean up Zenith just like that, but unfortunately it comes at the cost of 2. SONIQS using that as the dinner bell to turn their heads over, and all they need to do is find Vox. Zanpah, though, being a little bit careful. So we can see Shrimzy just sending it across the street, going wide, seeing if he can bully out Vox. Even if Vox takes shots at Shrimzy, that should make him visible there to Tiggleton. But now as he takes damage in the blue, he might just be eating it, giving the win to SONIQS as they take victory here in match number 2 today with 13 kills. Godspeed.
Man, what an honestly very hard fought battle from SONIQS. They had to clear multiple teams out of multiple houses, including some of the harder ones that we've seen push. They had to fight for that ridge. They were held out by Zenith. At the end, they were still getting shot by 300 and 1. They lost Hwinn to the blue, but ultimately they made it. And man, what a hell of a game. Also want to give a massive shout out to 300 as well as Zenith. They played that very, just beautifully.